Hello and welcome to my instructional video on darning. Now, today we're going to learn a few different things about darning a sock. We're going to, one, identify a sock that is in need of darning. Two, we're going to show you how to collect the appropriate materials and effectively darn a sock. Okay, so for reasons unknown to mankind abroad, holes have plagued some of our most beloved of possessions, socks. And today we shall come to their rescue. Now, sock darning has been an age-old tradition that originated in Eastern Europe. The furthest back it was traced was 1607. The term darning a sock was coined, and from there it was drawn out and shown generation to generation on how to effectively darn a sock. Now, darning is a way to mend clothing. Okay, darn you may think of as a curse word, as something that's said when you hit your thumb with a hammer, or those types of things. Something that you don't like, which is exactly where it came from. Darn was used in the 20th century as something that happened bad to you, something that you was unfavorable, and that's where the term came from. But when you saw a sock that had a hole in it, it was a darn sock. So today I'm going to show you a couple of the things that we need in order to darn that sock. Okay, one, you're going to need a pair of scissors. Okay, this is going to be utilized to cut the thread that we're going to use. Okay, depending upon the different type of sock that you're going to use, or sometimes a garment we're going to be mending as well. So identifying the sock that we're going to use for that in this particular case, we found this old wool sock here that's got a nice little hole in it that's been worn many years in hunting and other things alike. Now, traditionally they used a darning egg, which is a round, an egg-shaped piece of wood that's polished that they would insert into the garment in order to make a good surface to darn on. Today we're going to use a little bit more modern version of that egg, and we're going to use a light bulb. So that's going to provide a nice hard surface for us to darn across. Also, the thread, well, I'm going to use black thread today. You can use threads of all different types and sizes. You want to try to match one up to the same material that your sock is, whether it's wool or thread alike, and then utilize this technique that we're going to explain in order to darn that sock. So next, I'm going to show you how to darn a sock. Now, just before we get to darning our sock, we're going to go ahead and take our sock and locate the hole that needs to be darned. We're going to insert the light bulb, as I already have, and we're going to stretch the sock gently across the surface of the light bulb. Now we want to be careful as to not stretch the hole too big or let it too slack. We need a good surface area to work across. I've also gone ahead and taken the liberty of pre-threading my needle. I've trimmed the thread itself to a couple of feet long and give us plenty of line to work with. If you do run out of line in the middle of the project, it's not too hard to rethread and go back over. We're going to be using a weaving pattern. So what we're going to start with is just above the hole. So we want to go above and weave all the way down below the hole in one direction. So we're going to use this needle just above, and we're going to insert, as you can see, through the stitching that's already there. And then we're going to pull it all the way through. Now we're going to come back through the opposite direction. Now what this is going to do, this is going to produce a framework of stitching that we can utilize to weave through. So you'll notice it will have a back and forth pattern. It'll go across the opening of the hole. But that's going to add more material, whereas traditional sewing is just closing up the hole, which makes a tight spot in the material itself. So because of time constraints, I'm only going to show a few different stitches here. And again, like I said, we're going to continue to go back and forth, producing the framework, as you will, to what we're going to weave through. Now, I have a couple different stitches, as you can see here, that have gone across. Now, if we were to demonstrate the entire thing, we would have stitching that went lateral all the way down. Then we would change our direction and we would go vertically, or with the the threading of the sock itself. Now, taking our needle, we're going to go in about 1/4 of an inch below the hole itself and insert the needle in through the thread. And now once it gets to the hole where our ladder work is, we're then going to serpentine through and weave our needle up and through that stitch that's already there. And again, we're going to go up, and then we're going to come back down. And then we're going to, once again, we will be going up and down, through the stitching that's already there. So we've set that stitch work. It's now going to slowly close up the hole with added material. So we are adding to it, not taking away or tightening the material, which would just cause a stress point. So now I'm going to go back up through, and we would continue this process for several minutes until we had enough material in there to close up the hole. So, like so. And as you can see in there, you can see how there is a cross pattern. Of course, if we would take the complete amount of time, we would have a tight pattern, and that would be still breathable to the foot, but still very, very workable in order to utilize the sock once again. So if you find yourself at a loss, there are many demonstrations that are on YouTube as well as other places. Again, thank you for joining us for this session of sock darning.